Hello, friends. Have you ever wondered what happens to all the data your program creates and then stops using? Where does it go? Does it just sit there forever, eating up your computer's memory? Well, in many programming languages, there's a silent helper working behind the scenes that cleans all of that up for you. It's called a garbage collector. In this video, I'll explain what a garbage collector is, why it exists, how it works, and which programming languages use it. By the end, you'll understand one of the most important concepts in modern programming, in plain, simple English. Let's get started. All right, before we talk about the garbage collector, let me quickly explain what memory means in programming. When your program runs, it needs space to store things. Variables, numbers, text, lists, everything. That space comes from your computer's memory, also called RAM. Now, this memory is divided into two main areas. The first one is the stack, a small, organized space where short-term stuff is stored, like simple variables inside a function. The second one is the heap, a much larger area where bigger and longer-lasting data is kept, like objects, arrays, or anything you create dynamically while the program is running. The stack cleans itself up automatically when a function finishes. But the heap? That's where the real problem begins. Let me show you why. Now, look at this. When your program creates data on the heap, let's say you create a list, an object, or load some user info, that data takes up memory. Once your program is done using that data, it should be removed so the memory becomes free again for other tasks. But here's the problem. If nobody removes it, that memory just sits there, unused but still occupied. This is called a memory leak. And if your program keeps creating data without cleaning it up, the memory keeps filling up. Eventually, your program slows down, becomes unstable, or even crashes. So the big question is, who's responsible for cleaning all this up? That's exactly where the garbage collector comes in. So what exactly is a garbage collector? In simple words, a garbage collector, often called GC, is a built-in feature of a programming language that automatically finds memory your program is no longer using and frees it up. Think of it as an automatic cleaner. You don't have to tell it what to clean or when to clean. It quietly runs in the background, looks for data that's no longer needed, and removes it from memory. This means as a programmer, you can focus on writing your actual logic, building features, solving problems, without worrying about manually cleaning up memory after every single task. Now, let me give you a real-life example to make this even clearer.
Let me give you a simple analogy. Imagine you're staying in a hotel. Every day, you use towels, drink from cups, leave trays around. You don't worry about cleaning the room yourself because the housekeeping staff comes in, picks up everything you no longer need, and gets the room ready again. A garbage collector works exactly like that hotel housekeeping. Your program is the guest. It keeps creating and using data, and the garbage collector quietly walks in, identifies what's no longer being used, and clears it out without disturbing your program. Pretty simple, right? Now let's see how this actually works behind the scenes. All right, let me show you how a garbage collector actually does its job. Most garbage collectors follow a simple approach called mark and sweep. It works in three basic steps. First, find. The garbage collector scans through all the data your program has created in memory. Second, mark. It checks which pieces of data are still being used by your program, meaning are they still connected to something? If yes, mark them as in use. If nothing in the program is pointing to that data anymore, it's considered garbage. Third, sweep. The collector then removes all the unmarked, unused data and frees up that memory for future use. This whole process happens automatically, often multiple times during your program's run, and you don't have to write a single line of code for it. Now let's look at which programming languages actually use this feature. Now let's talk about which languages come with a built-in garbage collector. Most modern, high-level programming languages have one. Java was one of the first popular languages to make garbage collection a standard feature. Python uses it too. That's why you can create lists and objects freely without ever thinking about memory. C# also has a powerful garbage collector, especially used in game development and Windows applications.
JavaScript, the language that runs every website you visit, has its own garbage collector working inside your browser. And Go, a modern language built by Google, comes with a fast and efficient garbage collector designed for performance. In all these languages, you focus on building features. The language handles memory cleanup for you. But not every language works this way. Let's look at the other side.
Now, look at this. Some languages don't have a garbage collector at all. The two most famous examples are C and C++. If you've been following our C programming series, you already know that in C, you allocate memory yourself using functions like malloc, and you have to free that memory yourself using the free function. There's no automatic cleaner watching over you. This gives you full control. You decide exactly when memory is allocated and when it's released. But it also means if you forget to free memory, you create a memory leak. And if you free it incorrectly, your program can crash. So the question becomes, is having a garbage collector a good thing or a bad thing? Let's break down both sides. Let me show you why having a garbage collector is a huge advantage. First, it makes coding much easier. You don't have to track every piece of memory you create. The language handles it for you. This means faster development and cleaner code. Second, it reduces memory-related bugs. Memory leaks, dangling pointers, double free errors, these are some of the most painful bugs in programming. A garbage collector takes care of most of them automatically. Third, your programs become safer and more stable. Since memory is managed properly behind the scenes, your applications are less likely to crash or behave unpredictably. But of course, nothing is perfect. Let's look at the downsides. Now, garbage collectors aren't free. They come with a few trade-offs. First, performance overhead. The garbage collector itself is a process that runs alongside your program. It uses some CPU time and memory to do its job. In most apps, this is unnoticeable. But in high-performance systems, like games, real-time software, or operating systems, even a tiny pause from the garbage collector can be a problem. Second, less control. As a programmer, you can't always decide exactly when memory is freed. The garbage collector decides that. For most projects, this is fine. But for systems where you need fine-tuned, predictable performance, manual memory management, like in C or C++, is often preferred. So choosing the right language depends on what you're building. Let's quickly recap everything. All right, let's quickly recap what we covered. A garbage collector is an automatic memory cleaner built into many programming languages. It finds data your program no longer uses and frees up that memory for you. It mainly works on the heap, where dynamic, longer-living data is stored. Languages like Java, Python, JavaScript, C# and Go all use a garbage collector. Languages like C and C++ don't. They expect you to manage memory yourself. The garbage collector makes coding easier and safer, but it comes with a small performance cost and less control over memory. That's the complete picture of how garbage collection works in programming. If this video helped you finally understand what a garbage collector is and why it matters, hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. And if you want more programming concepts explained in simple, beginner-friendly English, subscribe to Webronaq and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next one. We've got plenty more videos coming, from C programming to modern tools and tech concepts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.